Welcome, everyone. I was already introduced. I'm the CEO of Luna PR. My name is Nikita Sachdev, and I am joined here by Sreeram, an icon in the Ethereum ecosystem and the crypto space. Sreeram, maybe we can start off with a quick introduction.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Nikita. Really excited to be here. I'm Sreeram. I started Eigen Labs 4.5 years back. Before that, I used to be a professor at the University of Washington, Seattle. We built at Eigen Labs EigenLayer, which is a mechanism to extend Ethereum to run all kinds of other networks on top. On top of EigenLayer, we built a bunch of other things. EigenDA is a data network. If you heard of a blockchain called MegaETH, Rise, these blockchains run on top of EigenDA. We also built Eigen Compute, Eigen AI, many other services. I'd say, like, for our part, we've built a lot of infrastructure. So the question is, what the hell do we do with all this?
Well, today we're talking about the verifiability layer that the AI agent economy needs. It's a little bit of a mouthful. And what that means really is something that I want to ask and put towards you guys, to the audience today. So just with a show of hands, I would like to see how many of you would trust your AI agent to book a flight for you? Just show of hands. Raise your hands if you trust your AI agent to book your flight. Right? Most hands. If you're not raising your hands, then get with it. It's just a flight. Keep your hands up if you would trust your AI agent to make a $100 transaction for you. Okay, a lot more. Now, keep your hands up if you would trust your AI agent with your passport, your identities, full bank account, all your documents, everything else that you own. Very few hands. I think I see one. What needs to change?
Yeah, when you think about an agent and its action space, how do you verify that the agent's doing actions within a constrained space? I think this is a very important problem. I would say there are two layers of verifiability to it. The first one is when somebody says they're running an agent, is the agent running exactly the code that they're saying that they're running? Is it running the model that you think that is being run, and so on? So that's one level. The second level is does the agent do what it said it'll do, right? How do you constrain and enforce these constraints on top of these agents? That's the core trust problem. And today, when you think about the agents, the second problem, which is how do you enforce constraints, I think is the dominant problem. The reason is when you can stratify agents into agents that are used by a single player, a person using an agent for themselves, or you can have agents which are shared across multiple different people and mutually untrusting parties. And these two require very different agent deployments. When it's a single person running an agent, you can run the agent yourself, set the constraints, whether it is through your some kind of a shell. NVIDIA came up with a concept called Nemo Shell, which is basically a constraint system. You can run it yourself, or you can run it remotely by a cloud or a provider that you trust. But when there are multiple people interacting with the same agent, for example, I want to build an agent that runs, that adjudicates a prediction market, okay? So when you think of an agent like this, it's a multiplayer agent. It sits in between multiple players. Now the trust becomes even more paramount, because who decides where is it run? Who decides how the prompts are changed? All these things have material impacts on how the prediction market will resolve. So agents need higher grade of trust when they're multiplayer than when they're single player. And this is, at Eigen, we built a lot of solutions to actually solve this problem. If you run like an agent on top of Eigen Compute, you can actually guarantee that the agent runs exactly the same set of prompts, uses the specific model, uses the specific data in order to actually make decisions.
But so Sreeram, I was walking outside the hallway, and every time I walked by, I heard someone talk about AI. A lot of the booths here, a lot of crypto companies have pivoted into AI. But what makes you guys the right company to actually do what you guys are doing? There's a lot of competition now. Everyone is trying to incorporate AI.
Yeah, I think it's the AI is like the tsunami that is hitting everything. And I'm glad the crypto space is responding to it by incorporating it and adapting to this thing. My own relationship with AI, even AGI, I would say, goes way farther. People talk about their AGI moment when they feel their job can be done by an AI. I had this in 2017. I was actually working with this physicist doing DNA sequencing. So as a professor, we were working on this project where we were building mathematical algorithms to take a DNA, transport it through a nanopore, and then infer what the DNA sequence was. And my specialty was doing mathematical algorithms for this. One of my students came up to me and said, Sreeram, you should really run AI for this. At that time, it wasn't even called AI. This was called deep neural networks. And he said, you should use a deep neural network. And I said, this is a stupid idea. Maybe you should use deep neural networks for problems where you don't have any idea what to do. But here we have this physicist. The physicist I was working with actually had invented that nanopore. He also has the sharpest measurement of the gravitational constant G. His name is Jens Kuntlack. I said, we know all the physics, we know the math. This is, retarded to try to actually do AI. Student went home, came back 2 weeks later, and told me he beat my benchmark. I said, this is not possible. You can't beat my benchmark by just running black box AI. Turns out he was right. Then I started looking into it. And whenever a problem is objectively verifiable, when you can actually measure if you're doing well, an AI can optimize the heck out of it. And that's exactly what was happening. We had a neural network. We had this DNA problem. There was a lot of data. You just optimized the hell out of it. And it was better than what the physicist and I could put together ourselves. And so this informed why I actually got into crypto and blockchains, because firstly, I felt like I kind of lost my job to an AI. So this is 2017 November. And it led us into many different directions. We ended up doing way more in AI and biology. I ended up writing a paper with David Baker, who ended up winning a Nobel Prize with Demis Hassabis. But this is all like in the past. But what I did is when I switched into blockchains, it was very clear that if you build a blockchain and you can't run a machine learning system, a neural network system on top, you're going to be left out. So in the very first white paper of EigenLayer, we said, what's EigenLayer? EigenLayer is an extension protocol for Ethereum, so you can run any network you want on top of it. What networks should you run? You should run machine learning, AI, agents, these kinds of things. And so it's just been a journey to actually one of the things we realized is we built this layer on top of which other people can build infrastructure. And it has been a progression for us to go further and further up the product stack. We built EigenLayer, anybody can build networks on top. We built EigenDA, Eigen Compute, all these things, so that those were services we built ourselves. Now we're going one layer further to say, no, actually we should do the most important use case that can be built on top. And that's our big new thesis. We call it agentic companies.
So you've always had AI in mind, it built Eigen with the I guess the thesis that you guys would eventually move into AI. It just wasn't called AI. What did you say? Deep neurological networks.
Deep neural networks is what people used to call it.
Neural networks. I guess I haven't heard anyone talk about deep neural networks, and I guess that just proves that you're very well versed in what you do. I mean, I'm talking to a guy who has a PhD from an Ivy League school, so of course, but I'm still going to hit you with hard questions.
Please.
Otherwise, this panel's not going to be interesting enough. So would EigenLayer move as quickly as it is today without AI?
Yeah, so I'll talk about Eigen Labs, the company behind EigenLayer. Right? We are basically seeing the pace at which AI can enable product development and growth. One really fun story I'll share is 2 months back, Google came up with a major quantum breakthrough. And so they had a quantum algorithm, which is much better than anything that exists. And they said, it's so sensitive, we are not going to release it. So they didn't release this algorithm. They said it's 10x better than anything that exists out there. And what one of my colleagues, he's actually not yet finished his college, he decides to do is to say, oh, if Google has this result, we know that this result exists. Can we have a bunch of agents to go and figure out what the hell they did? Okay, so he takes that problem, sets up an objective benchmark, and unleashes a bunch of agents to go improve the solutions to this problem. And his agents are working day and night, and they make some progress. And then he comes and tells me, hey, I improved the state of the art without Google's result from 25 billion to 10 billion just by using a bunch of agents. But I'm stuck there. And then I suggested, why not we create an open network where anybody can come and use their agents, their knowledge to actually improve this benchmark. So we launched this challenge called ECDSA.fail. ECDSA, so the importance of quantum is if quantum computing exists, you can break Bitcoin signatures, you can break all kinds of internet encryption. So we started this challenge and then we launched it. And within 6 days, right now, we've not only beaten Google's benchmark, we're actually 40% better than anything that exists. So it's been unbelievable to see that you can take one of the hardest scientific problems, building a better quantum computer, and then have a bunch of anons, basically. None of the people that are involved in this are actually experts in this stuff. Even myself, I wouldn't call anywhere near an expert. I'm on the quantum advisory board for Coinbase, but really, I don't really know quantum computing. Each of the areas are very specific and deep. And what I found is a network of anons collaborating, coordinating on a problem can actually solve something so important because agents have democratized the ability to build. So why am I giving this example? If a network of anons using agents can actually solve a big problem in quantum computing, we should all ask ourselves, how much are we taking advantage of this intelligence bonanza that exists and accelerating our own product roadmap and building? And I think we are trying our best, but I think there is a 10x to 100x improvement that is possible. We already are 10 to 20x better than where we were 6 months back in terms of how we build, how we ship. But I think there's another 10 to 100x to go.
But Sreeram, can we move quick enough? Because you're talking about AI being able to solve, quantum security issues, but AI is cracking into crypto and is already causing crypto issues, like what happened with Zcash, right? So are we moving fast enough?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the hardest questions for crypto. I think what happens is when, I think eventually we will be actually much stronger for it because it's kind of like this thing where we say, in some sense, Bitcoin was a public bounty for many years before people started trusting Bitcoin, right? Because it had to run in a public permissionless setting for long enough before people know, okay, you can't attack it. There is a similar version that's going to happen with AI, is people are going to try to attack every protocol that exists, and protocols that can actually withstand this will actually stand the test of time. But how do we actually do this? I think the biggest tension is between open source. It's not between open source and security. It is actually between instant settlement and security. When you have a protocol that has to settle instantly, then if there's a hack and somebody stole the money, they just ran away with it. And then you're just forever lost. But if protocols can control the settlement lag by saying, okay, it's going to take 1 day to settle. In this day, some agents might review it, some other network will review it, whatever the protocol is, I think those kinds of solutions will actually stand this period much better than protocols that optimize for instant settlement. This is one of the big, I think, the next 6 months to 1 year is going to be very scary for DeFi, because protocols that have instant settlement will have a pretty strong attack surface.
And you believe that we're moving into an era where AI agents will become their own companies. You said earlier that you got into crypto because AI was already doing your job. What about other people's jobs?
Yeah, so this is we were talking about DeFi security, but of course, agents are going to have a massive societal scale impact. Before we deal with this, maybe like a quick highlight of the thesis. What is this thesis that agents will become companies? The idea is, when you look at a company, what is going on? Somebody puts in money, there's a capital layer. And then there's a governance layer. How do the people govern the company? That's another like governance layer. Then you have the execution layer, usually comprised of teams that work together. You have the CEO, you have the execs, and then you have the execution people, and all of us together go and execute on something. You have the execution, which is usually human, and then you have like the company can own various properties. Facebook owns Facebook.com. Mr. Beast owns his YouTube channel. A game might own their website, whatever, right? And when you think about the company, like right now, companies have really nothing much to do with crypto. So this also relates to one of my core theses for crypto. Like the place where crypto's biggest value proposition shines is capital, right? The movement of global capital and enabling new kinds of instruments for capital. So when you think about it like this, right now, crypto is only the capital layer for on-chain protocols. But on-chain protocols are very, very limited. There is like 5 DeFi protocols worth investing. That's why everybody keeps talking about one or two. It's the Hyperliquid and friends that everybody is talking about. It's because those are the only on-chain things which are investable. But to actually have a much larger surface area of investable things by crypto capital, we should make every digital company investable. How do you do this? If I can take the digital company's credentials and put them all on-chain, the website, the YouTube account, the Stripe accounts, the Roblox games, any one of these can be encoded and owned by smart contracts. Right now, there is no framework for doing this. That's what we're building at Eigen, which enables any one of these companies to be represented and owned on-chain. And then the execution layer, which is usually a big thing for crypto, is you have tokens on-chain, but people build companies, and sometimes companies get acquired, and the token's just free running on the other side. And instead of this, if you had AI agents which are fully on-chain, AI agents that are fully on-chain, which are doing a part of the execution, which are orchestrating both humans and agents to do execution, then suddenly there is no issue that somebody just ran away or like somebody went somewhere else. The agent is always on-chain, always owned by the protocol. They can appoint a new human as a steward. They can appoint other people. So the new thesis, answering your question on the role of humans, is agents at the center and humans at the edge. So already you can see this in Jack Dorsey's thesis for how he wants to run Block. His company is agents maintain context and information and things at the center, and people plug in at the edge, and you can now remove the entire management layer. But imagine this agent's not just off-chain, but these agents are living on-chain. Now suddenly these companies become fully investable by crypto capital.
So you feel that AI, blockchain, and crypto need to function all together? Is that a necessity?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think we ran out of time. I could go on, and this panel was so interesting. Thank you so much, Sreeram.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.